Oh, gonna talk some boxing. Gonna talk some boxing. So got a couple of days till the fight. Today is Thursday, so basically, I'm gonna go to work. Hopefully, we get out at a decent time. So hopefully, I can try to go home and get some rest, and then get ready to head to Vegas. So I'll be there tomorrow. I missed week the early week festivities, but it is what it is. You know what I'm saying? The YouTube channel don't pay the bills, the real job pay the bills. Like I said, I'll be there tomorrow. Hopefully I get there in time for the weigh-in. I hope I do. I mean, I'm gonna be pushing it. The weigh-in start at around 2 o'clock. So my plane land in Vegas around 1:15. So hopefully, like I said, I can get there in time. So hopefully I don't have a hard time getting off the plane. Hopefully I can head straight to the Mandalay Bay, try to get in there and catch the weigh-in before it's over. But I'm definitely gonna be ready to go. So I'm gonna have my equipment ready. So once I get there, I'm gonna start recording. I'll be able to catch some people. I'll be able to catch Kenny. I got something set up possibly with Bernie the boxer, Team Crawford. So like I said, I'm looking forward to this fight. As I said before, this fight, like I said, got a throwback feel to it. Just reminds me throwback 80 fights, like I said, between two blue-collar workhorse fighters. And like I said, may the best man win. Like I said, I have an idea who I think is going to win the fight, but I'm not going to say it out of respect for both the Porters and the Crawford camp, because I mess with both of them. So I'm just showing, mutual respect. Don't want to get caught up in that. But yeah, I have an idea who gonna win the fight. But I'll say this much going into the fight, which I'm gonna break down. I'm gonna talk about what Terrence Crawford has to do to win, and then I'm gonna talk about what Shawn Porter needs to do to win. Because this fight for both fighters is gonna be some new looks for both of them. I don't think Bud has ever fought a guy that's rugged and rough as Shawn Porter, and I think Terrence Crawford is the most skillful fighter that Shawn Porter has ever fought. And no disrespect to Errol Spence, but I'm just keeping it a buck. I'm just keeping it a buck. And this is why this has the making of being a great fight. Do I believe that there's going to be a stoppage in this fight? Maybe, maybe not. But I think it will be an action-packed fight. The fight is sold out. That's a good thing. I don't know what the trajectory is for the pay-per-view numbers, but I mean, the fight itself sold out. So that's a good sign. People have an interest in this fight. And people are more interested in this fight than they were in Canelo Caleb Plant, because most people kind of figured how Caleb Plant and Canelo would end up. Even though when you watch the actual fight, Caleb Plant did very well in that fight. Now, contrary to ESPN and other people, you would think that it was a one-sided fight on behalf of Canelo, which it wasn't. The fight was very competitive until the ending, and I saw Canelo struggle the first half of the fight versus Caleb Plant, whether people want to admit it or not. Struggled so much to where Canelo was talking about moving up to cruiserweight. And I'm sorry, I'm not buying this stuff about, Canelo is challenging himself. Canelo is going up to cruiserweight looking for the easiest belt and the most easiest opponent based off skill set that he could find. If Canelo was really serious about his legacy, when Alexander Usyk was at cruiserweight, he would have went up to cruiserweight and fought him. And we already know how that would have turned. We already know how that would have turned out for Canelo if he would have tried to fight Usyk. I mean, Canelo would have got the ass whooping of his life. So that's, so now he basically going up to cruiserweight and fighting a dude. And let's just keep it real, that nobody was checking for, that most of us are not familiar with, in a fight that nobody asked for. But when you have mainstream media that push an agenda about certain fighters towards certain fighters, well, they're going to try to make it look like it was spectacular. And I saw the interview that Max Kellerman did with Sean. Shout out to Sean with Fight Hype, where he was talking about that Canelo would be the favorite against Arthur Beterbiev if he went. Why? Why? I must be missing something. Canelo don't want no parts. Canelo don't want no parts of Arthur Beterbiev. I knew it was Cap when he was talking about fighting him. The only way Canelo fight Arthur Beterbiev if he looks terrible versus Marcus Brown. And keep in mind, Arthur Beterbiev is getting up there in age. I think he's 37 now. And we all know that if Canelo was to go up to light heavyweight and fight Arthur Beterbiev, he's going to stipulate the hell out of him. He's going to try to weight drain him. He's going to try to control everything. So when I heard Max Kellerman say that Canelo would be the favorite, why? Canelo struggled against Sergey Kovalev until that questionable stoppage versus Sergey Kovalev. See, one thing about me, I don't pay attention to what broadcasters say, color commentators, because I don't pay attention to them. They're told to broadcast or televise a fight in a certain way. Canelo was struggling tremendously versus Sergey Kovalev. He couldn't even get past Sergey Kovalev's jab. And when Sergey Kovalev really nailed him, Canelo froze. Man, I can't keep taking too many of these. So I was just like, okay. And then when all of a sudden that knockout came out of nowhere, I was like, okay, well, I know what's up with this. And I'm glad that people are starting to call Canelo out. And I'm glad that Kenny Porter called him out and other people. Because that's another thing. Canelo fans want you to kiss his ass and suck up to him, and that's not gonna happen with me. Not this channel. You got unfinished business with David Beterbiev. You owe it to David Beterbiev to give that man a chance to get his belt back. Because technically, you asked to get his belt. You asked for that fight against Yildirim. You asked for that fight. You requested it. They didn't order it. You asked for it. You wouldn't. So you fought him. You got that belt. You didn't even beat the actual guy, the actual champion. David Benavidez got stripped of the belt. And now you talking about, well, we'll fight David Benavidez, but maybe 2 years from now. And here's the thing. The longer that it takes Canelo to fight David Benavidez, it benefits David Benavidez more than it does Canelo. Because David Benavidez keeps picking up the experience. He gets better. Because keep in mind, he's only 25. Well, he's about to be 25. So I don't even think he's reached his peak yet. So let's just say Canelo waits till he's 26, 27 to fight him. Well, then I think David Benavidez will be either close to his peak or at his peak. And then Canelo will be 32, 33 by the time it happens. So, like I said before, Canelo got 50 fights in. And then all that going up and down and trying to going up in weight, then coming back down, that's going to hurt Canelo eventually too. Happens to everybody. It happened with Bernard Hopkins, happened with Antonio Tarver, happened with James Toney. Once you go up, it's hard for you to come back down. So I'm just telling you now, that's gonna eventually hurt Canelo. And I'm just telling you that right now. It's gonna benefit David Benavidez more to prolong this fight than it does Canelo. But then again, Canelo said he don't want to fight other Mexican fighters. That came out his own mouth. He said he can't see himself, which I remember when that got back to David Benavidez looked like, and I know David Benavidez, he tried to stay on code as a Mexican. I get it. And I understand that. He looked like, what? And I know he don't want to go in on Canelo because Canelo is Mexican like him. I get that. I really do. But at the same time, business is business. Legacy is legacy. Money is money. You got to give a dude his shot. And I thought that was complete BS because Lead Floyd has said that. Lead Floyd Mayweather has said, well, I don't want to fight any more black fighters. He would have got it either way. Everybody would have had something to say. From whites to non-blacks to other blacks. Lead Floyd has said something like that, but Canelo says, I can't see myself fighting other Mexicans. And Oscar De La Hoya got away with saying that, oh, I promised my wife I wouldn't fight any more Latinos. What? See, this is why a lot of these content creators are fake. There was hardly no videos made a couple of years ago when Canelo said that he can't see himself fighting any more Hispanic fighters. So he don't want to see him to fight no good black fighters neither.